So you have a PlayStation 4 or 5 and you want to ditch this controller once and for all to get the best possible racing experience. Let me share some of my do's and don'ts so you can save money and get the best possible experience. Hello and welcome to my video. Thank you for joining me today. I walked the same path as you, wondering what equipment would be good for me to get started. Equipment that is good to use but is not going to break the bank. Let me share some helpful tips with you, because I have made some mistakes on the way and I would like to share them with you so you don't make the same ones. So the good news is you are already halfway there. You have a PlayStation. Almost made it. There are some great racing titles on the PlayStation, but you will need to pump the brakes already, because there is one massive, huge thing you have to consider right now. Do you want to continue with the PlayStation, which you already have, or do you want to go with a gaming PC? You are limiting yourself a little bit with the way things are with PlayStation, just because there's not that many titles on it for racing, while the gaming PC, sky's the limit. Basically, you have every title under the sun that you can play, and all the peripherals will work. If you do feel like you want to be a pro sim racer, I would advise to go with a gaming PC, without a doubt. There's just so much more flexibility there. But if you're like me and you want to just stay on the PlayStation, like I did, there's some great racing titles on there, including ACC, which is, a pretty realistic sim compared to other games that you have on the PlayStation. I would advise to stick with the PlayStation if you already have it and you don't want to be a pro sim racer. This is the way. Now, that being said, if you already have a PlayStation, the starting cost of all this will be a lot less because you already have the console. So that's the main thing, because you don't have to buy a gaming PC or build one, what have you. All you really have to worry about are a couple peripherals and you're good to go. You're off to the races. And the main thing on PlayStation is that one title that everybody keeps talking about, which is Gran Turismo. And you can't find it anywhere else. It's not an absolute sim, but I love it. Everybody loves it. If you love cars and car culture, Gran Turismo is definitely the way to go. Before we talk about wheels and pedals, let's talk about what I'm sitting in, the seats, the cockpits. I started off by mounting my wheel directly to my desk with the provided clamps at the bottom. This worked okay. I wouldn't say I was very happy with the way they were mounted, but I didn't have anything else, so that's what I was going for. My pedals were just on the ground on the hardwood, kind of sliding around. Load cell pedals were just off the table. They just slide around on hardwood, so I had to go with the basic pedals, but we'll talk about that in a second. So your main options really are mount it to the desk of your choice, get a wheel stand, which is basically you mount your wheel directly to a stand, as it says in the name, and you can put your kitchen chair or your gaming chair on it, and it usually has a little lip so you can put the little rollers or feet in it so it doesn't slide away when you're pushing on the gas pedal or on the brake. And then the third option, which is the cockpit. Now, cockpits come in many different variations. They come in a simple fold-away one to start off with, which is what I had in the beginning. I started off, when I had bought my first cockpit, with a foldable one. It was the Next Level Racing FGT Lite, so you can move it around. It is marketed as a foldable one, which I set up once and never folded away because it did seem like a big hassle to put that thing away. So it was always just in the middle of my living room, actually where we are right now. And it is actually bigger than the one I'm sitting in right now, which is a lot more rigid and solid. Those fold-away cockpits are really good for gear-driven wheels and most belt-driven wheels, such as the G29 Logitech or the Thrustmaster T300s. The torque is not too bad on those, so there's not too much flex on them. Although those fold-away cockpits, the downside is, of course, they have some flex in them, so they move around quite a lot. They're made with light duty materials. The Next Level Racing FGT Lite and the Playseat Challenge are great options for beginners or for daily drivers even, but they will most likely need to be upgraded in the future as you kind of outgrow them. I've heard people say that those are great starter cockpits for people that don't know if they really like sim racing yet. In my opinion, I would say that's not true, just because If you're already going to buy a full-size cockpit, something tells me that you're going to like sim racing. If you've already gone this far, you're definitely going to like it. I would say just get something a little bit more sturdy, because over time you're not going to enjoy it a lot anymore, just like I did. It will definitely be worth it to get a sturdier cockpit, because over time you're not going to have to upgrade at all, or maybe in the far away future you might have to upgrade if you want to take it to the next level, but it'll last a long time if you get a solid quality cockpit. And if you're really not sure if you're going to like sim racing and you're starting out, do what I did. Just mount it to the desk, drive around a little bit, see if you like it. If you really don't like it, then at least you can cut your losses with just the steering wheel and not the steering wheel and that flimsy foldable cockpit like the one that I had. Let's talk about wheels and bases. This is definitely the first thing on your mind when you want to start with sim racing. You just want to get rid of that controller, and rightly so. I mean, look at the difference. Would you pick this? Would you pick this? Here it's important to set a budget before you start looking. I started off a long time ago with the Logitech Driving Force GT. I'm not sure if anybody remembers. It's a very old OG force feedback wheel. Had a little shifter on the side, integrated into the wheelbase. Very clunky, very mechanical sounding wheel, because it was just gear driven at the time too. But I loved it. It was a great wheel, and it was my first wheel, so of course you're gonna love it. Since then, the market has definitely grown exponentially. The quality of these wheels right now is probably tenfold. There's just so much more options available right now with wheels. You have different manufacturers making them. They're all very good quality wheels, but it also shows in the price that you pay for them. There's definitely a choice to be made here. First, you got the gear-driven wheels, which are the basic wheels, which is the G29, and so on. Then the second option would be the belt-driven wheels, which is what I have here. Between the two, there's also a belt and gear hybrid. We'll gloss over that. If you're looking for a solid belt-driven wheel that won't break the bank, definitely the T300 from Thrustmaster is the gold standard still for the price that you pay for it. If you're looking for a solid wheelbase and a solid wheel, and you have the budget over $1,000 Canadian, then you're going to want to look at the direct drive wheel. Direct drive wheels are just on their own league. They don't use any belts or gears, as the name suggests, directly on the motor. So much more feel into them. You're definitely going to pay the price for them too. And keep in mind that for PlayStation only, there's only a select few that actually make them compatible for PS5 and PS4. So before you buy, definitely check that out and make sure that they are compatible with a console. There's definitely a very popular brand at the moment, which is Fanatec. They make very, very high quality wheels. I don't have one, so I'm just assuming that they're very high quality because everybody praises them. As you can see, I did actually not go that route, and I found this for a pretty good deal. It was on sale, so yeah, I am very happy with this. Would I get it again full price? No, I think I would go for direct drive. But belt-driven wheels like this TGT2, which is kind of the top line for belt-driven, you can't go wrong with this one. If this one is on sale and it is within your budget, I would say this one is awesome. So it really all comes down to your preference and your budget. The more money you will be able to spend on a wheelbase, this will definitely increase your driving experience. But keep in mind that spending more money does not equal better lap times, because you can be just as fast with a cheap wheel than with the direct drive wheel. It all depends on who's driving it. Over time, I would assume that a direct drive wheel will open up a lot more possibility for you to improve. So keep that in mind. Unfortunately, because we love our consoles so much, there are indeed some drawbacks as well. But also some very apparent pros for the PS5. What I'm talking about is screens, displays, monitors, whatever you want to call them, TVs. The issues we have as console players is that we can only play on one screen at a time, no triple monitor support or anything like that. That being said, there is a very big but, and that is with 1T, which is that PlayStation 5 now supports PSVR 2, which is a new VR headset that PlayStation just released. PSVR 2 is quite amazing. When I put it on the first time, I was just in awe. I couldn't say anything, which says a lot because I'm kind of used to a lot of things. I have a bunch of videos about the PSVR 2 on my channel, so check that out wherever I'm pointing. PSVR 2 is a game changer. It changes the game so the game can never be played the same way ever again. For now, it's somewhat limited to GT7 as a racing game on PS5. I would assume there's going to be more titles in the future releasing PSVR 2 support. I'm hoping to see Formula 1, Dirt, and all the other games come out with PSVR 2 support for racing games, because that would be absolutely amazing. And if you're not really into the VR stuff, don't worry, because GT7 just released a new update that you can now use 120 Hz on your compatible monitor. So you're going to have silky smooth 120 Hz 4K. Let's talk about pedals. As important as the wheel, if not more important. When you start looking for your first sim racing wheel, you start thinking about pedals like that straw that you get with your drink when you order one. It kind of just comes with it, so you use it, it's meh. Unless you buy like a high-end combo, like direct drive, whatnot, you will most likely just end up with basic pedal set, which is exactly what I just showed here before. Comes with the kit, is meh. Do you use it in the beginning? Yeah, I did. I liked it. I was very happy with my pedal set. And it makes sense. When you start out, the pedals that you get are basic, but they do the trick. They do what you need them to do. They accelerate, they brake. Sometimes there's a clutch, which I've never used my clutch because I don't have an H shifter, but it comes with a clutch. I mean, it's everything you can dream about. But there's more to it than just that. I think if you're looking to improve your lap times, the first place that you should be looking at is your pedals. Not your steering wheel, not your seat, the pedals. When you drive on the limit, you can control the car with just your feet. So the better the accuracy is down there, I mean at your feet, the better lap times will be. Guaranteed. You're better at trail braking, you can control it a lot better, there's micro adjustments to be made there. You can all do that down there with load cell pedals. As the name suggests, load cell pedals use a load cell to transfer that information to the console or to the computer, whatever you prefer to use. Normal pedals will use the distance traveled from the brake pedal to the bottom to let the system know how much to brake. Load cell pedals are a little bit different that way. If you push down, it applies pressure to this pad at the bottom, and this pressure gets calculated by the system as in how much brake to apply. So there is a little bit of a difference there. Load cell pedals are also a lot stiffer and much more realistic. Great for trail braking and other micro adjustments you need to make. Plus, most of the time, load cell pedals can be configured hardware-wise and software-wise to really adjust them to your liking. Load cell pedals, like the one I bought, can be purchased separately. If you don't want to use the basic pedals that come with the set, most of the time you're going to have to buy them separately, unless, like I said before, it's going to be an expensive kit. And if you want to jump right in, you can. You can get a really nice kit up top and a load cell pedal down below. It will cost you, but again, over the long term, this will be worth it. Again, I started out with the small, simple, basic pedals, but pretty much right away, I figured I should probably upgrade mine, and therefore I got my load cell pedals, and I've never looked back since. My advice would be buy your steering wheel separately and get load cell pedals on the side, or find a kit that comes with load cell pedals. If you're going to buy a kit and that also incorporates the price of normal pedals, you're going to lose some money. So therefore, I would say find something that has load cell pedals from the start, and that tip will save you some money. If you have some experience and helpful tips for the beginner, please comment them below. This will all benefit us in the long run. Thank you for watching, and check out my other videos.